In 2008, the BCDA signed a contract promising that even if the deal with the developer failed, innocent third-party buyers would be safe. Find out how the BCDA disappeared when it mattered most, leaving investors unprotected while the agency profited. On July 1, 2008, two critical agreements were signed to get the Camp John Hay project back on track. First was the main restructuring agreement, but directly linked to that was a second contract, a memorandum of agreement between CJH DevCo, Phil Estate, and the BCDA to complete the Camp John Hay suites, known as the Forest Lodge, and Forest Cabins. The developer committed to finishing these luxury units as part of their obligation, but they needed security. The BCDA gave a crucial assurance. In the event the lease was pre-terminated, the BCDA would handle all obligations, including those to third-party buyers. In other words, the government promised that if the deal went south, the innocent buyers of these suites would be protected by the BCDA. The agreement was simple. The developer pays the back rent and finishes the buildings. The BCDA sets up a one-stop action center to process permits within 30 days. But as the months rolled by, nothing happened. Permits stalled. The one-stop shop remained a fantasy. The bureaucracy that paralyzed the project in 1996 was still there in 2009. By October 2009, CJH DevCo had enough. Citing the BCDA's continued failure to establish a fully functional one-stop action center, the developer exercised its right to suspend rental payments. You cannot force a tenant to pay premium rent when you refuse to provide the basic service you promised in the contract. But even after the suspension, the developer continued to settle obligations. In May 2010, they transferred ownership of 26 condotel units to the BCDA through Dazione Pago, meaning paying their debt with property. These units were fully operational. They were part of the hotel pool, and here is where it gets interesting. These units were subject to a leaseback. This meant the BCDA now owned them, but they were rented out to guests. Who collected the revenue? The BCDA. For years, the government enjoyed the income generated by these 26 units. They profited from the very development they claimed was a failure. But when the legal battle escalated and the BCDA moved to take over the camp, what did they do with the people staying in those units? Did they protect them as they promised in 2008? No. They evicted them. The same BCDA that collected the revenue from these units turned around and kicked out the very people generating that money. They took the assets, they took the income, and then they discarded the third-party investors they had sworn to protect. The 2008 reset was supposed to be a new beginning. Instead, it exposed a harsh reality. CJH DevCo built the suites. They paid with property. The BCDA promised a one-stop shop and the protection for the third parties. But in the end, they kept the assets and left the investors on their own.